Greetings, I'm Chevalier, and I bid you welcome to the Situation and Guide of the Oirat. Oirat is a horde, as you probably already know. They're quite, I'll say, difficult to play as, although they have a really big zone to conquer. They start by being bordered with Ming, which means that Ming might want to take lands from them. Right now they don't want to take lands, but once this guy dies, they might actually be attacked by Ming, so a strong alliance to the Tenways must be preserved, and some other tricks that you can pull off. But your primary target for attack should be Ming later on, especially because of the areas here that are basically farmlands, which are really huge if you want to boost, not boost, but make a metropolis out of a few zones basically, so you can actually get the Renaissance faster. But this is a Ming strategic, well, let's say a trick that you can pull off as Ming to just boost up decisions, or as Kin or Manchu here. But let's just delve into the take of it basically. So let's go into the situation and let's go for cash first. Let's say that you make 5 targets per month. If you kill this, you'll make 6 targets. You can afford a couple of advisors. You will most likely go for full cav, so remember that full cav is gonna cost you plenty of cash. I recommend just going for 1 admin, 1 military advisor. So we'll talk about this: 1 military, 1 admin advisor. Remember that from the tribes you can get an admin here, a liquid minister, a master liquidator, which is gonna be a little bit cheaper. So 1 admin, 1 military. So here it's fine. You have no forts, just 1 level 1, nothing more here. This zone has no level 2 forts as far as I know, so they will be really easily conquered. Other than this, there's nothing much to see here. Let's go to trade. If you see here, you collect in Newman, you'll most likely move west a lot, to Samarkand, to Persia, to Astrakhan, to Crimea. Depends on where you want to put it or where you want to go. I recommend just taking 1 end node, not end node, 1 node at the end that trade can be pushed into basically with ease. So for example, Crimea would be a good zone, or even Kiev I would say, but Crimea is better, and just push all the trade from here to Crimea. Although remember that in Crimea, all the Ottomans might be pulling trade from Crimea, Genoa might be pulling trade from Crimea, so that might be a little bit problematic. So try to perhaps go to Astrakhan, or even move north to Novgorod in the later stage of the game. But for the early game, just collect a new man. Later on you might want to move to Samarkand, or even Persia for example. That would be good as well. But yeah, try to move westward when you think that you're gonna get more cash from that trade node. Let's go to estates. You have the tribe estates, as I said before. Pretty simple estates, and a pretty simple estate. For the first, just recruit this, and also you want to recruit a minister. That's gonna get you to 72. You can then support tribes and contribute warriors. These two offset each other, so you'll be able to get manpower for cash. Pretty standard stuff there. For now I don't recommend doing anything, just leave it at 72, and when you feel the need for manpower, just pull this off. You'll probably need a manpower after a couple of wars, just keep it in the backlog. Other than this, there's not much to say on the estates. On government here, you have a 335, quite decent leader. He is also a general. He's a good one, if I myself, 255. He'll be able to kill anything that you might come across. Even the Uzbeks, which are one of the biggest threats in the regions for you, they're gonna be easily squashed. So 255, quite excellent. He's gonna die quite fast. The good part of this is that he has no legal heir. When he dies on no legal heir, you're gonna lose some horde unity, but you're gonna gain a decent heir, and you might also get some rebels, but they're easily squashed. So here on advisors, I recommend going for national focus on admin and getting 1 admin advisor. I recommend getting yearly inflation reduction, as you have it here. If you don't have the yearly inflation reduction, I recommend going for the tax. But the yearly inflation reduction is the best, because you're gonna be able to reduce your inflation that you're gonna get by taking a lot of cash in the war operations. So this will be nice as well. Here you have the +2 guy for half the cost, the national manpower modifier. He is excellent. for your actual goals for this campaign and your aggressive expansion. Now let's go into the government. You're a horde. Remember that you can raise. That's excellent. You can raise stuff. There's nothing much more to say here. Also, you have a manpower, you have the force limit, and you have the looting speed. Excellent. Try to loot everything, especially if you have the cavalry there. You'll be able to loot everything quite fast. Remember that looting is excellent and extremely profitable. So try to loot as much as possible. Trying to build buildings that are quite useless. So try to remember that as well. Also remember that I will talk about feudalism later on. Your culture is Oirat in the Baltic group. If you want to look at this, you'll be something around this right here. Mongolia is in your culture, and Kazakh that you're gonna raise later on is gonna be in your culture, so that means faster annexation. Try to remember that as well. Let's just delve into diplomacy. Here, I'll say that it's quite simplistic. Oh, let's do this. Good someone. This as well. So, enemies. Well, quite simple. First one is Uzbek, like you're gonna attack Uzbek earlier on. Second one should be Chagatai, and the last one should be Korchin. Your first target of attack should be Korchin. If you want to do something a little bit more not cheesy, but a little bit more tricky, you can actually don't rival the Uzbeks. You're gonna be able to get a nice turbines anyway. Now rival the Uzbeks and rival the Burasha. You might lose Burasha earlier on, or they might not be a valid rival. So try to you can try to attack Burasha as well. So if I will remove this and you try to be a little bit more tricky, go for Korchin, Burasha, and Chagatai. Attack Korchin, then Burasha, and Chagatai. I'll talk about this in the expansion guide. For your allies, I recommend going for the Timurids as your first ally. Quite simple. They're gonna be your buffer zone. Later on, you might want to get an alliance with a Great Horde, perhaps, if at all possible. The Great Horde will be a nice ally, or somebody in this area here. But usually you're gonna have your vassals that are gonna occupy like maybe two or three slots. So that is gonna be your main focus there. So the Timurids are your main ally. We were talking about cash, trade. Let's talk about technology. You have not embraced the feudalism. It's not taken in your country, as you can see here, because nearby provinces have feudalism, bordering nations, feudalism, pretty annoying stuff, and you're gonna have to pay a cost. Although this comes with an opportunity here, you'll be able to stack tons of points up to 1.5k. And then when you actually want to go into the feudalism, if you have tons of cash, for example, by taking the lands from Yeren, you can move easily into the feudalism. And from Perm, I guess, but Yeren, Haik Siege, Jiangsu, those nations are the best nations that you can get feudalism really fast. So we'll try to move here and to Yeren quite fast so you can get the feudalism. Other than this, you'll have to boost admin up to 5. Try to use the modifiers. For diplomacy, try to wait to get the first diplomatic idea. For military, when you want to go to war or when you feel threatened, try to use the modifiers as much as possible. That's about it on technology, quite simple. On the ideas here, you have the horde ideas that are minus 10%, aggressive expansion minus 5, years of separatism. You have the land attention minus 20, you have the Kev compatibility plus 20. This is crap, this is good, this is excellent. I mean, there's nothing much more to say. You have the land maintenance modifier. Okay, I guess. I mean, you're gonna have to build tons of cav, so this might be useful. Land leader shock plus 1, excellent. You have the corporation cost minus 25%, excellent as well. You have the manpower recovery speed plus 20%, and you have the national manpower modifier plus 25. Both are excellent. There's nothing much more to say here. And at max, you have the stability cost modifier. Really easy to forget it. Quite crap. No use for it. For the national ideas, I recommend going for the land conquest of influence, followed by enemy, followed by religious. Simply you want to go this route because you might want to not switch your religion, but I mean, you keep Sunni as a standard religion because you're Tengri, but later on you might want to switch to a better religion, perhaps. I'll say you can even switch to Sunni, or if you feel the need to, you can actually switch to Christianity, though that's quite annoying. Some options there, but yeah, I recommend going for influence admin and the military idea. I recommend going for either offensive or quality ideas. Mainly for offensive quality ideas, you don't need the ships, and offensive is gonna give you the force limit as well, and the shock that is gonna be well coupled with your cav. If you can get there fast enough, I mean, you might want to switch your government earlier on. Other than this, there's not much more to say. There are no other options. Perhaps you can get economic as a fifth to just build up the China area. If you want to go that route, then you want to switch to the Chinese region, culture, some problematic stuff there. I'm not going to talk about them, they're basically high into the game. But yeah, just to go for influence admin followed by religious for a military idea, recommended is offensive. And that is about it on ideas. Let's move on to missions and decisions. There's nothing much more to say here. I mean, Vision Quest, Yellow Shamanism, Black Shamanism, pretty standard stuff for the Oirats. Give me a second to actually take off Steam. There we go, thank you. Quite annoying, those guys. Where were I? Yes, missions and decisions. Sorry about that. Pretty standard stuff there. You'll have to remove reform your government. Other than this, there are some flavor. This is an event for the Tengri religion, and some flavor events for the for being a horde. Other than this, pretty standard stuff. Remember that to reform a government, you have to either have admin, echo, or innovative ideas. You have to embrace feudalism, stability at 3, and have admin power at 200. So this should be easily gained. Then you're gonna be a switch to despotic monarchy and to move to the Chinese technology group, and then you can actually follow the rest of the what's it called the goddammit, the institutions basically. Although you can follow institutions early on as well if you want to build up some. There are some tricky things there that I haven't experienced that much with what's it called, with the institutions, that are a little bit easy to do. For example, you can build up some of the regions here that have grasslands, or for example, oh, you have no farmland. That's annoying. So no farmlands, that's gonna be annoying. Or here as well, where you have grasslands, that's part of the Timwood as well. There are pretty much no zones that you can improve at the horde in the region here. They all suck, unfortunately. Even Korea sucks as well. Yeah, like only Japan has some farmlands, and you'll be able to attack Ming early on. So you can go to China, but yeah, to Japan, to really China, Japan, to India. My bad. You'll go to India if you want to really try to save points when building up. But yeah, you can embrace institutions quite fast if you raise quite a lot of land. Stability and expansion, pretty standard stuff. Reduce war exhaustion. You might want to reduce a lot of war exhaustion to be able to go at war quite a lot. For stability, boost to 1. Here I recommend going for the native repression. You're not gonna get any colonists early on, so try to reduce it out of your mind. Other than this, you might have some problems with rebels, but they're gonna be easily squashed by your troops or kept down by the Tengri religion, if at all possible. If you choose your syncretic fate as Tengri. As the Sunnis, right? A religion you are Tengri, as I said before, you can choose a syncretic fate. I recommend going to Sunni. That will allow you to basically integrate your guys faster and keep the land under control quite a lot. Other than this, you can also go for Confucianism if you want to. That will allow you to get the admin cost plus 10%. It's gonna save you some points, but it's not that important. Vrajaya is gonna give you early horde unity and tourism through fate. Nice, but still it's better for Sunni. Although their bonuses are useless, they're gonna allow you to have a more stable land, especially when you want to convert. Later on, if you want to switch to Sunni, it's up to you. You should probably pull it off with no actual issues to switch to Sunni. Other than this, there's not much more to say. You're mainly gonna rely on vassals to actually keep those lands under control. For military here, as I said before, you have this guy here, which is excellent. Other than this, you have a land force limit of 15. You're already building 5 more troops, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you're building from the decision there. Try to have full cav, because you can actually pull off 100% cavalry, which is going to give you a lot of combat potential. For naval force limit, it doesn't matter, you're not going to use it that much. No forts, and not too much more to talk about on military here. As for your vassals, you have a subject in Mongolia. They are 100%, what should I call it, basically upset, disloyal, and fucking annoying. Do you have some options here? You can actually release him and annex him, but depends on how I want to do it. This guy will not help you at all and might be a thorn in your side, so just try to feed him some lands from Korchin. That will lower his ability desire quite a lot, but remember that you're gonna gain it for development, so that's gonna be annoying as fuck. Other than this, you have some cores on him, so he might lose some development by events when you actually try to remove those cores. But yeah, if you cannot actually annex Mongolia and for example you have troubles, just try to release him and attack him. If you want to do this, try to do it from the start, because if you do this, you might not want to feed him some lands from these guys. So try to keep that in mind as well. And that is pretty much it with these vassals, and this is the initial situation and guide of Oirat. This is part 1, the initial situation. As you can see, they are, I'll say, not problematic, but they have quite an easy start. If you look at here, you have like 2 ducats in spare cash, which you actually save from military, so they are doing quite well. Later on, when the problems occur, as with any horde, you might actually want to focus on stabilization, then actually go for expansion on key points, main Timurids, and not just go full rampage on expansion. But yeah, I'm Chevalier, and I hope you enjoy this, guys. Ciao.